Hey guys, so we are back again and we are going to be looking at the Nexus last boss room, but we are going to be looking at a different artifact this time, and it's going to be the blue Beetle Scarab. Actually, this kind of sounds cool, but it always reminds me of the mummy. You know, kind of how like they had those little scarab things and they're supposed to like crawl inside your skin and go around and eat your brains or something like that and exit out through your nostril or mouth or something. I don't know, that freaks me out. But yeah, so I think it's a different scarab, obviously, but you get my point. Moving along, we'll go straight into the bosses. The bosses that we had gotten for this last boss room, the phased in boss was General Lex, and the phased out two of those bosses was Space Commander, and the other one was Professor, as you can see here. And of course, they are going to be using their normal attacks that you've already seen in the second or third encounter, wherever you encountered them at. So Professor Lex would be doing his Venom attack, where he kind of shoots like a green beam that could either, panic you, or actually also put, kind of like a dot on you as well. Space Commander, I believe he cases you inside like a bubble, like a trap where you have to bust out of. I believe Professor does that too. I'm not really sure which it comes from. Space Commander does a lot of beams though, I know that for sure. As for General Lex, I have an entire video showing exactly what he does with stills and, colored, circled, literally showing you exactly what he does. But for this last boss room, he loves his one-handed flurry like always, and he'll continue using that. Now, speaking a little bit on the one-handed flurry from General Lex, I personally feel that General Lex's one-handed flurry is a lot more weaker in the last boss room rather than if you had encountered him in the second or third encounter. I don't know why this is. Actually, my kind of opinion on why it would have been this way is because you have 3 bosses compared to 1 that you would encounter from the second or third room. So in that case, I think that's why they lowered the one-handed flurry damage a little bit, just because the devs know that General Lex is going to be jumping around everywhere, and you don't want every single one of your players getting KO'd every time he jumps around, because he does it very frequently. So for General Lex's one-handed flurry attack in the last boss room, you could just simply block through the entire thing and just wait for a healer to heal you, or either roll out the way just to make sure that you are doubly safe, because he could lead right up with, like a mortar or a flamethrower or something like that. Now, since I did mention the blue Beetle Scarab in the beginning of the video, we'll delve a little bit more into what the blue beetle mechanism kind of does towards the last boss room, since they are kind of incorporated into the last boss room's mechanism. For the blue beetle, if you do get that, you will get vortexes or slash ripples, the white circle things that you see on the ground. Now, the white circle things do several things depending on the artifact that you get. So for the blue Beetle Scarab, we had gotten the buff. Now, this buff works both ways. It buffs your team or whoever stands on the ripple, as well as if a boss is standing on the ripple itself, they will also get an additional buff. So if you are a tank, you definitely want to try to avoid having the bosses stand directly on top of the ripples so that they're not getting that additional buff as well, because that means their powers will be much more stronger, their damage will be much more stronger, and you'll have the possibility of wiping a lot more faster if you don't watch out for that. Now, don't try to force it, but if you can, definitely try to move them or, coax them off of the ripples. And of course, the main mechanism of the room, definitely the most important one in my opinion, is the inevitability attack. Now, the inevitability attack, if you haven't seen the first video of the Nexus last boss room with the artifact of Clay of the Gods, it will be at the end of the video that you could definitely watch that for if you want to see a more close-in version of that. But the inevitability attack is basically the raid wiping attack that will happen. And what you'll have to do is you will have to shield or incorporate and utilize these shields that happen around this room. The first shield will come up and it looks like a reflect, but not really, but it's on Syndra right now, so you can actually see what it kind of looks like. Now, the first shield that comes up will be designated for your party, And so the best thing to do is stand near the artifact, or if your team decides to do it a little bit differently, just have them, you know, pick a spot of where to meet. Usually the artifact is a lot easier to say, so we just usually just say, hey, the first shield, just go somewhere near the artifact. Now, there will be a second shield that pops up. Once the second shield pops up, that's when all of your party members are going to gather at the first shield, except for the tank and the second shield holder. The second shield holder will at that time go to the tank, where the phased in boss will have a skull that lights up right above its head and then unleash the inevitability attack. Now, if you are within the shield limits, if you see that little round ring that happened, you will be safe from that raid wiping attack. Well, that's about it, guys. I know this video was a little bit short, but if you want a more in-depth view, go ahead and check out the artifact with Clay of the Gods. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.